So we have our multi shot parameter set, our reference hole saved, and our focus area defined, and we already have all of our grid squares that we're going to collect on imaged. So the next thing to do is actually pick the individual locations that we are going to collect on. And to do that, we're going to go to add points, and we are going to actually I'm going to stop and go to the very last hole, and I'm going to delete each of the points I wanted to collect on, and that's just so it's easier to see us or see the points that I'm choosing. So I'm going to go to add points, and then I want to zoom out just slightly so I can see the entire grid square, and I want to start picking points, and I want to pick the center of each 3x3 array of holes. So here would be one center, and now I want to pick the next center, and I don't want to get into the ice, so I'm picking a center hole that's out and prevents any of these adjacent holes from being in this thick ice, because that's not valuable data. So next thing I'm going to do is count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and so on until I've picked all of the holes I'm interested in that grid square. Then I'll say stop adding. I'm going to collapse groups so that they're saved individually together, and I'm going to move backwards to the next position. So now I'm going to 25, and it's zooming in each time, which it doesn't usually do, but now I can go to add points again, and I'll pick this position 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and so on. You get the point. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So I'm setting up a overnight data collection, and this is with a K2 camera. So we usually collect about 70 or 80 images an hour, probably close to 1,000 overnight, depending on when you start. And what you want to make sure you do is select enough holes for an overnight data collection. So usually for me that's about 100 points. And you can keep up with the number of points you've selected by taking the very first point, which in this case would be 36, and subtracting the highest number from that. So, if we got to 136, that would be 100. And then maybe you figure in on top of that you have a few empty holes and some of your data isn't good. And you can start to get an idea of how many points you'll select overnight. Now we're at 12. Just working backwards here. I usually find it easier to work backwards, but you can start from the very first grid square that you collect on. And then I'm just going around the outside of this hole, and one of the things I noticed when I was collecting my grid square images was that in some of these larger grid squares, the very center holes were empty. So I'm just going to avoid the very center. I mean, I have enough collection or enough areas to avoid those empty holes. So we're on 12. Now we'll go to 11. And another thing we want to avoid is the junk. And I'm just going to pick some random holes now, avoiding the junk. Okay. So now we're at 10. Oh, and look at this. This has a huge crack. So we probably, unless we're very desperate, won't collect on this one. We have, we're already to 100. Well, we're at 0.99, so we've collected about 70 different points, and we could probably get to another 30 with the remaining sets. That has another crack, so we'll skip it. And we're here at 8, and that probably looks pretty good. So we'll go to add points. 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 111. 20 more. Okay, another crack. And zoom out once more. Oh, add points. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, and again I'm just avoiding that junk. Okay, and now on to 5. That will be probably our last one. Again, just picking the very edges, trying to avoid junk. Okay, and we're up to 129, which is close enough. Okay, and that is how you pick points. The next thing, while you're you have all of your images grouped together, you're going to actually say acquire to each one of these groups. You don't have to pick each individual point. So acquire, 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 and so on. And one more thing to show you before we go on to the next video. Let's say you make a mistake and you have some set of points that's overlapping. What you can do is actually uncollapse your groups and select any point you want to get rid of and say delete item, and that's how you would undo any mistake. Okay, in the next video we'll be showing you how to actually start data collection. Okay.